Normally I save these kinds of movie reviews for February 6th, but since it was a requested review, here's my take on one of my all-time favorite movies. I would actually say that In Bruges is the perfect dark comedy. Its jokes are shocking to many, the violence is at once dramatic and also over the top, and we sympathize with the characters so much that we genuinely care for what happens to them. I'm going to go by what the trailer says about the plot. Ray and Ken are two Irish hitmen who are sent to hide out in Bruges, Belgium, after Ray kills their latest target. Ken is the older, wiser man, and he tries to blend into the tourist crowd. He admires the city's ancient attractions as well as the overall atmosphere of this seemingly medieval haven. Ray, however, couldn't be bothered by any of it, and is bored out of his mind. Until he meets Chloe, a beautiful young Belgian woman who is not all that she seems at first. Meanwhile, the two hitmen await the phone call of their foul-mouthed and temperamental boss in England. If you've seen the trailer, you'll know that the boss decides to make a personal visit to Bruges, though that thankfully doesn't even scratch the surface of what's going on in this movie. In fact, the trailer has often been criticized by fans of this movie for a ridiculous focus on the comedy without any attention to the drama and the plot. But personally, I'm glad that there were very few spoilers in the trailer because it makes the discovery of this gem all the more rewarding. In Bruges works so well because we get to find out so much about these characters through their actions and their dialogue, so that it's not just a walking parade of caricatures. In lesser hands, the American dwarf would have been clumsily unfunny, but in the hands of Irish playwright and filmmaker Martin McDonagh, the characters come to life as real and believable people. Of course, a lot of credit needs to go to the actors themselves. Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, two Irish actors who I've admired for a long time, give their greatest performances in this movie. Farrell in particular had been on a downward spiral due to poor blockbuster choices and a wild lifestyle. But this movie was for him what Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was for Robert Downey Jr. It was a role that let him show his genuine range as an actor as well as play to his strengths. Ray is a foul-mouthed, hard-drinking young man who is bored to death by the city of Bruges, but he's also racked with guilt over something that went wrong during his assignment. Meanwhile, Ken grows to love the city of Bruges, and despite his frustration with Ray's attitudes, he's very worried for the young man's well-being. Ralph Fiennes also gives one of his personal best performances as Harry Waters, the boss. And Clémence Poésy shows that she is one of the most talented and most attractive actresses of her age group. The supporting characters all weave very well into the story, especially because most of their established scenes get followed up by a brilliant payoff. This includes the bumbling tourists in the opening of the film, the snobby couple at the restaurant, Jordan Prentice as Jimmy, and Rudy Blom as the ticket seller. Rudy Blom in particular gets a scene with Brendan Gleeson and Ralph Fiennes that is hands down one of the absolute funniest parts of the movie. Overall, In Bruges blends insensitive jokes with genuine emotion. The drama is handled with seriousness, and there is an emphasis on the subjects of morality and guilt that few hitmen movies ever address. McDonagh is a master storyteller, and he's helped by the gorgeous architecture and layout of Bruges itself. And while he's shown us that he can follow up with great movies like Seven Psychopaths, it's hard to imagine McDonagh ever surpassing this masterpiece of a film.
On a quiet street where old ghosts meet, I see her walking now, away